Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you may be in the world. This is Gift of Healing TV, and I am Sarah Jane, your hostess. Thank you for joining me. This program is a little exercise. Let the words flow. So I hope you have pen and paper to hand. If you haven't, may I suggest you go and grab some. If you have ever wished to write, I didn't think it would be something I could do, and it's amazing what I've found myself writing. What a really good place to start is your own story. You know it better than anyone from your own perspective. And I have shared vocally and in writing my whole story, aspects of my story. And being able to share your story is good for you, and it can help many others. It really can. But maybe that feels difficult. Maybe that feels a very difficult place to start. So, have you got something that you really like to do? Have you got a brilliant hobby? Doesn't matter. Nobody else is going to read it. Write about that. I'm not asking you to write anything at the moment. This is really just about suggestions, thoughts about what you may think about, just starting with from your own perspective. Okay, something you know about. So your story is one of those. A hobby that you do, or something you are really interested in, whatever that may be. Maybe there is something that you're studying at the moment that really interests you, or an aspect that is slightly outside of your studies, but just go and do it. I mean, when I was studying accountancy exams, I also was doing just a lovely little course about homeopathy, which I found fascinating. It was way more interesting than the accountancy. So something that you're interested in. Maybe you have a story going around in your head. Just get those thoughts down on paper. It isn't about thinking about what you're writing. It is just about letting the words flow, whatever they may be. Or you could just think up a word and then write something about it. Every month I write for an online magazine called The Magic Happens. And one of the things they do is they have themed articles, and they give you 3 words. And you can, if you can put them all 3 together to make something of the whole, then great. And occasionally I've been able to do that. Otherwise, you pick one of the words and you write an article on that word. And the magazine that's going to be coming out in a couple of days' time, one of the words was scintilla. And I'd never heard of it. So I looked it up in the dictionary. And I think it just means a tiny bit. So it's a scintilla of hope is the title of the magazine, the article I've written for the magazine. So you could just find a word and find a way. It's a theme for something that you write. So find something that makes it easier for you, that maybe with scintilla of hope, once I realized what it meant and I could make the title scintilla of hope out of it, I could go from there. I found myself writing non-rhyming poetry. So if that's something, rhyming poetry, just let yourself do it. Don't hold back. I've got a book. This is actually the back of the book in which my poems get written. The way the camera is, you can't see that, but never mind. That's the book, because I do handwrite them. I don't type them. When it comes to those articles, most of the time I can actually type those. But when I'm channeling, and yes, I write because I channel as well. But it is just a matter of trusting. And it doesn't matter if what you write the first time doesn't make any sense to anybody else. You're not going to give it to anybody else. This is about you. And you haven't got to start with the word I or once upon a time, or just if it's a word that comes to your head, hope, love, gratitude. What are you grateful for? What happened to you earlier today or yesterday or last week that perhaps was a little bit of a struggle? And can you just write very briefly and then find the positives and write those down? And even if you can only find one or two, that's fine. Writing is just about letting yourself write, just going with the flow of the words. And what I'm going to do now is I am going to be quiet, and I would like you to pick up your pen and paper, because yes, we are going to do it now. Now is as good a time as any. And I'm going to sit here and write as well. 4 or 5 minutes, not long. Doesn't matter if you think your mind is a blank. That's because you're overthinking. If there is a pet you could write about, pet cat, pet dog, pet gerbil, whatever it is. Do you like watching the birds in your garden? Yesterday, it tipped it down with rain. The sky was still black, but the sun came out. And the raindrops, the sunlight caught the raindrops on the branches of the trees. And there was lots of those little glitters. And it was really beautiful. So is there something that you've seen that was so beautiful? And I know the picture you have in your mind and the words that you wrote on the page probably won't do it justice. It doesn't matter. It's just let yourself write. So I am now going to be quiet for a few minutes. I hope that you will allow your pen to flow on the paper. And let's see what comes. I hope you trusted yourself. And yes, I did write something. And the way the camera's set up, that probably looks backwards to you. Let me share. Nothing special. I do love nature. I love being out in nature. And actually just talking about those raindrops on the trees with the sunlight. But nature is amazing. She feeds and waters us. She brings us sunlight and moonlight. She brings us wind and gentle breeze. She brings us snow, hail and sleet. All of this support life, the trees and plants to grow, feeding us and all the animals, creating cover and shelter. Mother Earth loves us, nurtures us, supports us in so many ways. The rivers are the veins of the earth. The trees bring us oxygen and breath. Oxygen to breathe. Can't even read my own writing here. The soil grows our food and feeds us and our animals. Trust her and be grateful for all her never-ending gifts. Trust yourself. Let the words flow. For some of you, you may think, oh, that was brilliant. It just is. Read your own to yourself. If you choose to share it, but it doesn't matter if others don't like it. It doesn't matter. It's for you. Enjoy giving yourself the freedom to write. You have to start somewhere. And the sooner you start, the better, and the more practice you have, the better you will get. That's it for this week. Next week, thoughtful nuggets and pearls. And the subject is focus. Focus on what you want. You will not get healthy by focusing on disease. You will not get rich by focusing on poverty. Focus. I hope you will join me for that. In the meantime, have a great week. Love, peace and light to you all. Namaste.